Okay, welcome back. In the first video, I just did a quick introduction about myself and introduced this technical indicator called a Donchian Channel. And we're going to use that to attempt to identify breakouts. And the amazing thing, of course, about the Interactive Brokers API is its flexibility, its deep integration with the market data that streams out of the Interactive Brokers Trader Workstation. And you can use these third-party libraries like Pandas very, very closely along with the IB API. So as you can see here, I have what's called a Jupyter Notebook open. This is just an interactive development environment to write Python code. So if you've never seen Jupyter Notebook before, you can Google Jupyter Notebook and you'll get all sorts of results and it'll help you figure out how to get it installed. Okay, on the right side, you see my Trader Workstation. This is my Trader Workstation simulated trading environment. Always a great idea to operate in a simulated account or your paper trading account when dealing with the IB API until you are very comfortable with working with it. So today we're going to be working in the paper trading account, although all I'm really going to be doing is pulling data down. Okay, we're going to start with our imports, and we're going to import time, threading, the datetime library. These are all Python libraries and pandas. And then in addition, we will be looking at the IB API client wrapper, contract order, and this bar data object, okay? So what I'm actually doing is I'm using a lot of type hinting, right? So Python 3 point something introduced type hinting, which allows us to define the type of object that is either being returned from a function or input into a function, and that helps with your IntelliSense in your IDEs. That's why I have this typing and this bar data. So my point in saying this is you might not recognize some of the syntax, but if you just Google Python typing, you'll learn all about it, okay? All right, so first off, we have a bunch of content here about the Donchian channel. So as we said, it's a trend following indicator that helps us identify breakouts. And, for example, here we've got an explanation of when you might use it to identify a breakout. So basically, if the price extends outside of the upper band, we might be looking at a bullish signal. We always want to confirm our signals, so you can use the Donchian channel to help confirm existing trends. We can use it to set entry and exit points combined with other indicators like Bollinger Bands or ATR. This is a really good way to understand if there are, or to set stops below the bands if you're long or above the bands if you're short, for example. Obviously, all this is great for risk management and also range trading. If you are one of those brave souls that expect, assets to mean revert, then you can look for the top band as a resistance point and the bottom band as a support point. Okay, we create a function here to calculate the Donchian channel. Now, I've got tons of code comments in here, documentation in here. So the actual implementation of the function or the indicator is very simple, which I'll explain to you in a second. But I like to do lots of documentation in here just so if I come back to it later or for other folks that want to look at the code, they understand how to use it, okay? So we will take in a data frame, and this is a pandas data frame, and we will take in an integer period number. So, this could be 30, this could be 21 for trading days, whatever period you want, and we are returning a data frame. So again, if you're unfamiliar with this colon.dataframe thing and colon.integer and this arrow, this is all typing this, okay? All right, so first thing we do is we look at the high price from our data frame and we compute a rolling window of time. So in our case, 30 days. And we take the maximum value over the last 30 days. I'm saying days. That could be any period, okay? That could be any period. Then the same for the lower. So we look at the low column in our data frame. We take a 30-day rolling window, and then we take the minimum value or price in that 30-period window, okay? And then simple enough, the middle line is simply the center between the upper and lower. So the upper plus the lower divided by 2, so the average of the two, and then our function just returns a data frame. So if you've never seen pandas before, I want you to really appreciate the power of what we're able to do with pandas. So given a data frame with open, high, low, close data, in just 3 lines of code, we're able to compute this technical indicator with very, very simple, easy to understand code, right? So rolling max, rolling min, and then the average of the two. We will take a data frame that is populated by the Interactive Brokers API and pass that into the Donchian channel and use that as an indicator. We will do that in the next video where we get into the scaffolding of the actual IB trading app itself. Okay, see you next time.